Okay. Now we go to our running backs rankings, and we can start with the holy trio, and I believe the only trio that can end up being is like sole, like they're the number one guy in that backfield type of backs. We both have Najee Harris ranked at number one. For me, it's a question, honestly, all three of these guys, if you want to interchange them, for me, in my opinion, you can do that. And in order, we have Najee Harris, Javonte Williams, and Etienne. We both had them ranked one, two, and three in that order. Now, what I like about Najee Harris is I like his patience, his tackle breaking. I really believe he's just a slower Derrick Henry. Like that's what I see when I watch him. Um, his initial burst, yeah, he's slower. I think he's slower in the aspect that his long speed is slower, but he definitely has good enough burst. He catches the ball well enough to be a true like workhorse back. That's what I like out of Najee Harris.
Yeah, Najee Harris. I was very high on Najee Harris, and it is close between him and the other two running backs that we have. But I think he almost had that Heisman Award in his hands, dude. The dude after contact is just a beast, dude. And it kind of reminds me of former Alabama running back Derrick Henry. He's a natural runner, excellent vision. The patience is there. Yeah, I really like Najee Harris, man. I think for me he's strongly my number one running back here.
Okay. Now, Javonte Williams, what I like about him, his contact balance, and we're going to talk about, use that word as well, contact balance for Travis Etienne, because they both have great contact balance. They have the ability to shed tackles. They do it in different ways, though. Javonte Williams does it with more power. Travis Etienne just does it by being like more slippery, I guess would be the word to use for him. But they both really have great contact balance. Um, he breaks tackles like Marshawn Lynch running away from reporters. Like it's ridiculous. Like his ability to use power, break tackles, and why I honestly might have him at number one. It's just I think he has a good blend of power and elusiveness and speed and balance and acceleration and jukes. Like he has spin moves. Like he has all that vision as well, patience. He has everything you want in a running back, which is why I'd probably put him at number one in all honesty. Like I just keep going back and forth. I just, every time I talk about him, I talk myself into like putting him higher and higher. Like he started off at number four, then three, two, maybe one, who knows? Um, what I don't like about him is that his pass blocking was not that great, and he's not an elite pass catcher. But again, I think he's good enough. He's probably in the same boat as Najee Harris, where they're both pretty good at catching the ball. Um, yeah, Javonte Williams, I'm really high on him.
Yeah, Javonte Williams for me, I think he's a bell cow reap. I think he's a dude that can take down can take all three downs, and he could have like a 20 to 25 carries in the NFL per game. And he's looked great, man, in college. And yeah, he had another great running back in at UNC, but I think he still does role. I mean, he looked great, man. His downhill runnings, the balance was incredible. I think that's the main thing with him and Etienne. So yeah, I think I like his yards after contact. It is close between him and for me it's close between him and Etienne. For you it's close between him and Harris. Uh, but yeah, I just like I liked his ability to break tackles and the balance on top of that. Pass catching's decent between both of them. Etienne is pretty good too, but I like Javonte Williams here and second and Etienne at third. And when it comes to Travis Etienne, a lot of people there's people that have him even at number one in terms of the running back because as a prospect he's also quite good. Um, Etienne, I remember watching him freshman year when he was in Clemson. He looked great. Uh, in 2019, Arib, he'd averaged 7.8 yards per carry. The game that I'll always remember watching was when against Ohio State in the opening round of the college football playoffs last year. It was the first meeting between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Travis Etienne, that's when it really stood out to me. Okay, this dude's legit. He has real NFL talent. I I think he's definitely got very high potential in this league. Uh, but yeah, it's different. Different, but he's different between Harris and Williams because his yards after contact isn't necessarily the same, and he's a quite small runner. So I guess that's the only thing that really is different between him and Harris, and of course Javonte Williams. But yeah, I think top 3 running backs, they'll all be pretty quality running backs, and potentially all 3 of them be Pro Bowl or all running backs in the future.
I agree with that for sure. The one thing that might separate the Javonte Williams debate for me, Amal, and Najee Harris is Javonte Williams is 2 years younger. So that might be worth considering, seeing as running backs usually like use them and then dump them after their rookie years. But rookie contracts. Now, Travis Etienne, number 3 for me. And the pro comp for him would be Alvin Kamara. The pro comp for Javonte Williams would be just a beefier Alvin Kamara. Like, that's what I see. Travis Etienne, very great receiver, probably second best or third best receiver in this class. Definitely the best out of the big 3. Elite burst, speed, probably the fastest, and he's probably the fastest and the most elite when it comes to initial burst. Gets skinny, can get open through these holes, his juke ability, decisive when he runs. The one thing I don't like about him is his patience, and he has a lot of load. Like he's been used a lot throughout college, and there's a reason why I think he's the SEC's all-time leading rusher. It's because he got a ton of carries, and I believe his patience. It's either like, the thing about him is he's definitely a one-cut runner where he'll see the hole and boom, he's through it. But if he doesn't see the hole, well, he's just gonna run into defensive linemen anyway, and he's gonna get like -2-3 yards. He doesn't really have that. He doesn't have the run sort of the patience yet that I'd like to see, which is why I have Javonte Williams and Najee higher, because they have that ability to hit the hole, but they also have the ability to be patient and wait for the blocks to get set. And I don't think Etienne has that. Moving on to number 4, and our consensus, number 4 and 5, it's between Kenneth Gainwell out of Memphis and Michael Carter Jr., the other UNC running back, Javonte Williams' running mate. I'm going to start with Kenneth Gainwell, just because I think Kenneth Gainwell, the reason why I said Travis Etienne wasn't the best receiver in this class was because Kenneth Gainwell is. Kenneth Gainwell is a phenomenal receiver out of the backfield. He has the ability to run routes true as a slot wide receiver. Great receiving ability, balance, speed, and burst. He falls forward, and I think he's kind of small, so he's like 5'8", but he has the ability to fall forward, which you wouldn't expect from him. Change of direction ability as well. He has that. He has the juke ability as well. What I don't like about him is I don't really know if he's truly a powerful runner. Like, he does fall forward because of his momentum, but he doesn't really run with the same tenacity as like the other 2-3 guys. Which is why I have him at number 5. You have him at number 4. And his blocking, obviously he's not the biggest guy, so he's not going to be the best blocker. And the reason I have Michael Carter higher is because I think Michael Carter has more burst, and I think he's going to be more of a component in the running game, which is why I think I have him higher. That being said, both these guys, I don't believe either of them could be lead backs. They're going to be part of a running back by committee. And Michael Carter, I look at him as more of an offensive weapon. Same thing with Kenneth Gainwell. They're both offensive weapons. I just think Michael Carter just has more burst for someone of like, he just has more burst compared between the two. So that's why I'd go with him, but they're both really good players, and I think can both be pretty solid contributors in a running back by committee.
Yeah, so I think they're both committee guys, like you said. I mean, it would be surprising if Michael Carter were to be a running back one. But that being said, dude, the student reminds me kind of like like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Do you see? I don't know if you see that type of thing. He's quite small.
Yeah, I think he might be a better receiver than CH, but I see that.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of that. But yeah, he brings that boost that you want towards your running game. I don't know if he can necessarily be a bell cow. Yeah, but yeah, he has talent for sure. And then Kenneth Gainwell, the reason I had him over Carter, is because I think Gainwell I like him as a pass catcher more. I guess that's my only thing here. I think he's going to be a great pass catcher. He runs routes very well. And I think Kenneth Gainwell could honestly become a wide receiver if he wants to. But the thing is, he has a, I don't know. I think he could high key be used in the slot, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, what I wrote in my notes for him was I wrote Bill Belichick is gonna love him because he's just like the standard Bill Belichick running
Bill
back,
Belichick would love him. Kyle Shanahan would love him. A lot of these dudes that Frank Reich would love him. A lot of the coaches that like having those running backs out there in that type of system. I like that. That's the only reason I put Kenneth Gainwell higher. You can move on.
Yeah, we both had Trey Sermon at 6. And the thing about Trey Sermon is when he puts it all together, which he did in the college football playoffs, he's phenomenal and he can legitimately be a bell cow. He has the speed, agility, power. I don't know if he necessarily has the elusiveness of like the other guys that we've listed above him. But the thing that I like about him is when he put it together, he had the decisiveness, blocking ability. He had all of it to be a true bell cow back. The only problem with him was he didn't really do it. And if you watch his film, it's a tale of two different players, essentially, because either he looked early on in the season and early on in his career, he looks like he doesn't have it. Like he just doesn't look like he has the ability to be a running back. Like he has a shoulder injury as well, which might hold him back, but he didn't have that burst. He didn't have any vision whatsoever. He was just smashing into the back of his own guys. But when he put it together at the end of the season, he was phenomenal. And honestly, if you want to put him higher than Michael Carter and Kenneth Gainwell, you can do it, but he's doing that only off of ceiling and the limited games you saw him produce.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say, the same thing. Trey Sermon, if you saw, of course, what you saw in the last couple of games you've seen him play, shoot, you can even put him number 1. But it's so it's like you've only seen such little amount of games from him, and on top of that, like you said, he's a solid running back. I think he can do everything. I think he might be all around. He's one of the best running backs here. I think he breaks tackles pretty well. He catches the backfield pretty well. He can pass protect. He can do everything, right? But the thing is, there's not enough games to
sample size.
He's not. I don't even think he's anything super special either. I don't see anything that he stands out immediately and say that's one thing that he's extremely good at compared to like the others. Like for example, I just talked about Kenneth Gainwell. An extremely good receiving back, right? But like you can't say anything that Trey Sermon's extremely good at. But he does everything pretty well. So I think all around he's a very solid running back, and you can potentially see him as a running back 1. And he could be a bell cow kind of compared to these different guys like Kenneth Gainwell and Michael Carter, so they could be higher. So he could end up being a true running back 1 in the future.
A quick question before we continue on with this, Amal. So obviously we have Najee, Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne. Those are guys who are round 1 to 2 talents. Kenneth Gainwell, Michael Carter, I put them like round 2 to 3, right? I think you'd agree with me. And then Trey Sermon, I'd put it 3 squarely. Maybe he could go late 2, but I think he's a 3rd round prospect. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay.
I just want to get our round rankings.
The top 3 running backs could all go 1 to 2, rounds 1 and 2. I think you can. I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. So number 7 consensus: Khalil Herbert out of Virginia Tech. You have him at number 7 actually, and then I have him at number 9. What I like about Khalil Herbert, right? You said Trey Sermon isn't elite at anything. I believe that Jaret Patterson, or rather Khalil Herbert, is elite at something. He's very elite at making guys miss. That's what I think he's elite at. What I liked about him, I don't think he has the greatest like long speed, right? I don't think he has any of that. But what his strength is his change of ability direction, his leverage. He knows how to be physical. He doesn't fumble. He's very much, I think he can be a leading back in a committee just because I think he has everything you want. He doesn't fumble. He has a good change of direction ability. Maybe he'll be a third down back, but he doesn't really have that passing game work whatsoever. I don't think he wasn't a nice receiver from what I saw. He dropped a couple way too many balls. Looked kind of awkward trying to catch the ball, but his game is definitely trying to make guys miss, and he does it really well at the collegiate level. And I believe that broken tackles metric I think that can sort of translate to the NFL.
Yeah, I think you hit it. You hit it absolutely right with Khalil Herbert. I think he has potential. My only thing with Khalil Herbert is that he's Virginia Tech. He I don't know how to say this. He was thick, man. I think he's built. He has a leverage. He has great leverage. I mean, he has a low center of gravity. After contact, incredible too. But yeah, I mean, it's just like not a lot of. I didn't see too much of him, so I guess that could be my only reason for him. But I think he has potential. He has potential to also be a running back one, because his yards after carry are it is pretty good. So I'm not gonna deny that. So we can move on.
Okay, number 8, Chuba Hubbard. I have him at number 7. You have him at number 8, or no, you have him at number 10 rather. Chuba Hubbard, you have to go off his 2019 film, because his 2020 film,
he's extremely fast.
Yeah. His problem this year was he had an ankle injury and he just looked completely out of it. And he also has a fumbling issue, in my opinion. And he's a bit too tall to block properly. But the thing with him is you're drafting him because of his size to speed combo, because he might have the best size to speed combo in this draft, including Najee Harris, just because he's a big guy, like 6'2", I think 220, I want to say, really big, has that ability to run really strong with power. Yeah, I like him. He can break arm tackles like crazy. He has some decent receiving work, and for a bigger guy, I think he does have some ability to use some elusiveness and finesse to create missed tackles. But again, the reason why he's not higher for me is because of his ankle injury. It took a lot of his stuff. It took a lot of his skills, and if he can't bounce back from the ankle injury, then you're essentially wasting a draft pick, because he was not good in 2020.
Yeah, I think the reason Chuba Hubbard I have quite lower was Chuba Hubbard actually his stock went down.
Yeah, I think last year if he had declared, he would probably have been probably would have been with the top 3 guys in this year's class.
Yeah, he would have been. So yeah, fumble problem still that was there. The only thing is, yeah, he's fast. He's damn fast, but he got hurt, man. So just off of how he was last year, I'd have to keep him here. I have him lower than you, but if of course he bounces back and he recovers, he can become top 3 prospect here. So the reason why we've listed so many running backs here is because they all have potential to become really good, right? They can all have potential. Yeah. Like, for example, a perfect example, James Robinson was a dude that none of us even looked at last year. Undrafted. The dude was an absolute stud. Probably the second best rookie running back last year behind JT. And he would have been the best one if he stayed healthy all throughout the season. He looked incredible, and he was a rookie running back. The Jags were screwed. They cut Fournette. Raquel Armstead had COVID complications, and he stepped up and he showed off that he was the real deal, right? So why we're listing out all these running backs, I think they all have potential to become pretty damn good players. Like, for example, even Mark Ingram split carries with Alvin Kamara, but that doesn't change anything because Mark Ingram still produced pretty damn well, even as a running back too with New Orleans, right? And his legacy will be known from him excelling with Alvin Kamara. And I think it's fair to say that guys, even as running back twos, they can succeed. Kareem Hunt, we're seeing that even in Cleveland. So even as if they're not a bell cow running back, they don't have to be. So definitely
They're still going to be impact players for their
definitely
team.
still going to be impact players. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, our number 9 guy, I'm lower on him. I have him at number 11. You have him at number 7. Jaret Patterson. You can take the stage because you're a Jaret Patterson truther.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to take too long because I think I already said what's needed to be said about Jaret Patterson. Just remember 8 touchdowns, 400 rushing yards in a game. But I think also in general, does he have weaknesses? Of course, I already said that before. But I think Jaret Patterson, you just not every running back's just gonna have those type of games, right? I think the weaknesses that are there, of course, in his game, agility. He's not shifty. I guess that's some of his weaknesses that he has. But the dude is nice, Arib, and I can't really show you otherwise. He went to a small school, Buffalo, so I guess that could probably be holding him back. But I'm a fan of Jaret Patterson. He'll probably be going early day 3.
Yeah.
I could see him going 4th, 5th round, probably 4th.
That's where I have him like marked as well.
But yeah, I have him this high because I think he'll be a sleeper in this draft. That's all.
Yeah, for me, I just think he's a function, or rather, he's a product of a great offensive line in Buffalo. And I think he's decently fast, but other than that, like, yeah, he produced, but I didn't really like anything from him. I didn't think anything stood out. I think he was just the running back who was playing behind a great offensive line in Buffalo, who played against like pretty dog water competition in whatever division Buffalo plays in, because I have no clue. Now, number 9 and 10, or rather number 10, Kylin Hill out of, where is he? Mississippi State. Number 10. And we're going to talk about our I guess Kylin Hill or Demetric Felton for us, I think are interchangeable. They're both, I think, have the same exact like averaged out score. So we can talk about both of them before we talk about our 2 other sleepers and sort of, under the radar guys. Kylin Hill, what I like about him is I really like his elusiveness. I think he has good feet. He's a good receiver. He has good blocking willingness, good combination of speed and burst. Like, he has everything. He can break some leg tackles. I think he can be a guy who can be a bell cow of a running back by committee. What I don't like about him is sometimes I think he just tries too hard. Like, he's fast. He has good burst. I don't think he has great deep speed. He gets caught from behind a lot, but he tries to use that initial great burst to get outside too much, where like he might have some lanes that are being set by his offensive lineman, but he would just bounce it outside for no reason. And then he would get tackled for like -2 yards. And the offensive linemen are like, what the hell are you doing? That's my one flaw with him. Demetric Felton, he's just a James White clone, and he's not all that fast, but he's a receiver who's playing running back essentially.
Yeah, Demetric Felton's a guy that I was quite high on. Demetric Felton, the thing is, Arib, you could consider him also as a wide receiver because some scouts do have him listed as a wide receiver. And he
wound up at wide receiver in the pro day as well, I believe.
Exactly.
He did a lot of
he could compete honestly as a slot receiver if he wanted to. And if you saw, I was watching a bit of this. I was looking at him. He slot during the Senior Bowl, and apparently teams were impressed by how he played at the wide receiver position. So maybe disservice if he listed him as a running back, but I'm gonna go off of him at running back because this past year he played pretty well as a running back. Looking back at film, his game against Arizona stood out to me. Southern Cal, USC, but I think, just the dual threat running back, those guys always can scare you. So I guess that's why I was high on Demetric Felton. But yeah. And then Kylin Hill.
Yeah, Kylin Hill, go for it, bro.
Yeah, Kylin Hill, he's a guy that I could see potentially even entering into late day 2 if teams are really that high on him. I looked at his game against LSU, of course, and that game he was just incredible. Blocking, he's pretty good at. He's shown a good amount of quickness, strength, and natural running ability. But I think the problem with him was that he wasn't good at finding holes, I guess, in his game. I guess that was my only weakness that I saw in him. But yeah, I mean, Kylin Hill is a dude that like also has potential to be a great running back in this league.
I'm just thinking of a pro comp for Kylin Hill because I don't really know. Like maybe best case scenario, he has some thump to him, so maybe like a Kareem Hunt with like worse vision. Like that's what I see, but I'm not really sure. Yeah, but we can talk about the guys that just missed the cut and
Davis.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know about that.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah. You can talk about Rhamondre Stevenson, who's the guy who just missed the cut for you, and then for me it would be Pooka Williams out of Kansas.
Yeah, so Rhamondre Stevenson, he was a running back that I think just missed the cut for me. I was thinking about putting him in here, but last second I chose not to. Rhamondre Stevenson, he had a lot of different. He had some interesting. He's been overlooked in my opinion. He's a pretty solid running back. I think his strengths are there, but I think the weaknesses that he does have, he's not good in a one-on-one situation. I think he's very good on the field with this explosiveness. He has pretty good speed, but like I said before, with Trey Sermon, nothing that he does is elite per se, and also he's not super fast either. So I guess that's my only criticism for him. In terms of explosiveness, isn't really there. So yeah.
Pooka Williams, I'd say he's the complete opposite of Rhamondre Stevenson. My comp for him, I think I text you this. He's a discount Saquon Barkley. And the reason I say discount is because he's like 170 pounds. So he's definitely discounted in where he has none of the power that Saquon Barkley has, but he has all the speed and the burst and the elusiveness and the pass catching ability. And I think he has the ability to be a home run hitter to where it looks like he's behind the line of scrimmage, caught, and then boom, he'll break it off for like 30, 40 yards. You'll be like, how the hell did that happen? My negatives, the same negatives that Saquon Barkley had coming out of college, because he has natural great running ability and he knows that he can make guys miss. And sometimes he'll just try to do it too hard and he'll get caught behind the line of scrimmage doing weird juke moves. And he'll make, instead of trying to go for the easy play and getting like a positive gain, he'll try to make it unnecessarily difficult and he'd lose like 5 yards. And again, he's lighter, 170 pounds. And I also think he has some character concerns. I forget what it was. I think he had some beef with like the coaching staff or something at Kansas. So I think he might've opted out part of the season because of that, but that is my final take on Pooka Williams.